Namaste. Prayers and meditation. When we look at the prayers of the Mother, we can see all the four aspects which Sri Aurobindo mentions: Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. But the aspect that comes most prominently is love. She is the mother of love. Sometimes people ask whether it is Mahalakshmi's love or Mahakali's love. It is divine love which is even beyond. Even this love, which is Mahalakshmi's and Mahakali's love, is a love which is basically still at the overmind, where these four goddesses are there merging into the supermind. But that is not the origin of love. Origin of love, Mother says, is beyond the manifest and the non-manifest. It is the supreme. But it takes this form. Even in Maheshwari there is love. That's why Sri Aurobindo says, even her rejections are not rejections but postponement. There the love takes the form of compassion. In Mahakali it takes the form of intensity and passionate force which brooks no obstacle on the path. In Mahalakshmi it takes a very soft, tender, gentler hue, harmony, sweetness, beauty. In Mahasaraswati, this love takes the form of detailed order, building perfection. All these are love, because people sometimes ask कि ये चार एस्पेक्ट उन्होंने बताए हैं. Where is that Shuddha love, love in its origin, love, Ananda? Sri Aurobindo says there were other great powers which have not yet manifested. So among them he speaks of Ananda. And within Ananda there is this love. Love and Ananda are two sides of the same truth. Ananda, as I have often said, Ananda is like you can use the word like the fruit. And love is like the flower. So, she invokes this love upon earth, within herself, most of all. And this is important because very often people have a tendency to turn Sri Aurobindo into a super, not disciplinarian, but almost like, he is a gentleman to an extent. His voice is described as something very soft. But when people write or speak about, Sri Aurobindo has said, do not imagine that truth and falsehood can stay together. It's not like this, he has said. Your tone and sound and your inner thing changes the whole meaning. He is telling us, do not imagine that truth and falsehood can stay together. ये तो कॉमन सेंस की बात है. समझा रहे हैं हमको, जैसे पिता बैठ के समझा रहा है कि बच्चे देखो ये दोनों चीजें साथ नहीं रह सकती हैं. ही इज नॉट जजिंग अस. डू नॉट इमेजिन, उसमें अपनी टोन ऐड कर देते हैं. See how the mother explains all this, how the mother reads all this. There's such a sweetness when she reads all this. So most of all, माँ के बारे में क्या एक इमेज बनाते हैं? Strict disciplinarian. I have heard people say, mother did not like this, mother did not, don't do. So once I asked somebody who had lived with the mother since childhood, I said, people say this, but my heart is not able to connect like that. I have always seen her as mother of love. People paint her like a strict disciplinarian, authoritarian. अब क्या होता है ना, जाकी रही भावना जैसी, प्रभु मूरत देखी तिन वैसी. अब for an asura, he only thinks that divine is like, because he can't help it. Even when divine is having a varad hasti, thinks thapad मारने वाले क्या. He looks at it and feels कि this to slap me. When the divine has a majestic gada, mace in his hand, it is majesty, The mace is there to protect you, but he thinks my head is going to be. So he looks in the mace a threat, whereas the bhakta finds in the mace a super protection. That is the difference. So I asked the person that is the Divine Mother, they paint a picture. He said, no, she is an embodiment of love. Madhav Pandit said book, Mother of Love. So many countless examples. If I go into it, it'll be like endless. So here we'll just read this prayer where she invokes this love in herself and for all things. February 19, 1914. O Lord, be always present in my thought. So beautiful this is. Not that I ask it of thee, for I know that thy presence is constant and sovereign. He is present in everything. Sarvasakshi. Then why should we ask? I know that all that we see and all that escapes our sight is only what it is because of thy marvelous intervention. What is that intervention? Classical example is, look at a little sepia on the seashore, shell. How beautiful it becomes, Marvelous intervention. Some of these stones, she says, they've been pulled out of inconscient. Majestic mountains. Where did the mountains originate from? From the void. And if you look at some of them, it's like, what kind of a sculpture has ever seen these, not images, but actual these mountains going up and down, and just mind-boggling. How beautiful, and then they climb over peaks and the colors and the shades. It is just unimaginable how somebody has shaped it. I mean, shaped it is a way of saying, somebody may say anthropomorphic, but it's a fact that how the forces, even if you look at it, how beautifully, so there is a hand behind it. The force that sent Jupiter spinning through heaven spends all its cunning to fashion a curl. Look at the rings of Saturn. Look at the Jupiter and the colors. It's like, kya hai ye? Look at the Milky Way, the way it is planned. And it's mind-boggling. So she says, whatever is there in this universe is because of the intervention. This is the love which is pulling creation out of the inconscient and carrying us still here. So then why she is asking? She tells us, because everything is because of your intervention. So she's asking, because I know that all that we see and all that escapes our sight is only what it is because of thy marvelous intervention, because of thy divine law of love. But I say, and say it again, I implore, in order to avoid forgetfulness and negligence, so that we don't forget this simple fact. Every day when we look at countless things in this universe, we remember that divine love. It's divine love shining in the star, divine love in the moon, divine love in the flower, divine love in that blade of grass, divine love in the gentle breeze touching and passing through. All this is because of divine love. So she says, we implore so that we do not forget it. Oh, now after imploring, she says, I want to become this love. Oh, to become thy living love. Is there a dead love? More often than not, love dies in the lover's heart before he is dead. Tragedy of life, no? Outwardly it continues. See how loving they are? This is the tragedy. But this is living love. Just imagine. A love which, you know what is living love? Living love is not something. Living love by its nature is something which keeps growing. Life is about growth, expansion. Living love is something which will never give up. It's always about growth. The power of life is to expand, to widen. Oh, to become thy living love so completely as to transfigure and illumine everything. That's what divine love is. Human love gives up very soon. चल ओके तो तेरा रास्ता मैं मेरा रास्ता खत्म हो गया बात. And then people say, what happened in my life? Arey, what happened is because you don't know how to love. Sometimes even reading all this there is a problem, because they say, oh see, mother has written you must love like this. It's for us to practice, not for others. So this divine love, which transfigures and illumines everything because it never gives up. It's a living love. It keeps increasing. The more you resist, the more it increases. Mother has spoken about it. Somebody said, Mother, you are writing so many letters to this person. He is so much, he doesn't even feel anything about all this. Why don't you stop writing? She said, when he starts feeling my presence, I will stop writing it. Only the divine can say like that, no? When he starts feeling, when he knows that Mother is all the time with me, then I'll stop writing. Because I will know that they have fulfilled the purpose. So it transfigures, and the more the resistance, the more this love increases. It never gives up. So it's a living love. And it transfigures and illumines so completely as to generate in all peace and benevolent satisfaction. All resistance and revolt and complaining and grudging and grumbling is direct from the abyss. What is it demanding? More, more, more. So even when you give, it is like going into a blind well, andha kuwa. And so there is constant frustration. What can fill it? Divine love. And when it fills it, there is that peace and satisfaction. No more of that demand, that pull. Mother used to fall physically sick because they were pulling at her vital. There were times when the darshan would stop. Darshan means everyday darshan. And when Sri Aurobindo was asked, she said, because people pull at her vital and she gives. That is the problem. She does not stop because she has the heart of the Divine Mother. She keeps giving. They are pulling for all kinds of things. But still in a human body, no? Untransformed. On the way to transformation. Much better than any human body ever made. But still a body which has its own share of ignorance. And that body is being pulled. And so much demand. Mother, you didn't keep your hand over me. Mother, you didn't smile. Mother, you didn't look. Mother, why you didn't give me time at this point, at this time? I wanted to see you in the morning. Why you gave me time in the evening or tomorrow? All these things. She would not lose her this thing. You don't know what I am doing is itself a grace. She would just continue to pour that love. There was this girl, no, who wanted to see the mother in the morning, and the mother said, you come tomorrow, because that day on a birthday she was busy. So, annoyed, wrote a letter to mother. You didn't see me today. Too bad. So mother says, okay, tomorrow you come 3 times. See, look at the heart of the mother. You come morning, you come afternoon, you come evening. Because people didn't understand that it's not actually just physically going and meeting. You are already in contact. When she has told you the time from then onwards, she is constantly with us. She is anyways with us, but the material contact. And then she says, oh, to become thy divine love, clairvoyant and pure. Clairvoyant is the love which is one with wisdom. So it does not make mistakes, not blind. It may look like blind, but it's not blind. There is in it a wisdom which is able to see, foresee its consequences, its effects. Oh, to become thy divine love, clairvoyant and pure. Pure here is only under the influence of the divine. Purity in mother's terms means to be under the influence of the divine. It has nothing to do with all our outer notions of purity. Oh, to be that everywhere and always. Perhaps never such a powerful, succinct line has been mentioned, written using the commonest words and in shortest phrase. So she first speaks about what this love is. She remembers, says all creation is because of this love. And then she says, we should remember this, otherwise we tend to forget. Then she implores this love, and she wants to become that love. And then she qualifies it, not just for some time, may I be that love always and everywhere. February 19th, 1914. O Lord, be always present in my thought, Not that I ask it of thee, for I know that thy presence is constant and sovereign. I know that all that we see and all that escapes our sight is only what it is because of thy marvelous intervention, because of thy divine law of love. But I say, and I say it again, I implore in order to avoid forgetfulness and negligence. Oh, to become thy living love so completely as to transfigure and illumine everything, so completely as to generate in all peace and benevolent satisfaction. Oh, to become thy divine love, clairvoyant and pure. Oh, to be that everywhere and always. Namaste.